Jag har bara varit här en gång tidigare. Och det var med Jacks båt som hette Freja. Vi seglade ifrån, ja det har jag glömt nu. Men vi kom in en ganska regnig och kulen dag och vi ankrade här mitt i sundet. Och det fanns en båt tidigare, en gammal förmodligen svensk skärgårdskryssare som läckte förskräckligt med 2 engelska pojkar ombord. John Dixon, som är min gamle vän, han och jag bytte båt 2 gånger. Han hade en Vega som hette Freja och jag hade en båt som hette Imari som är ett japansk hamn. Jag ska inte berätta om det. Och när jag var i Canada så träffade vi Miss Mary Ann som hade hand om postkontoret. Hon hade också träffat Mr. Roland Svensson som är en svensk konstnär. Han hade bott här en sommar och hon sände sina varmaste hälsningar till Mr. Roland Svensson. Och jag ringde upp Roland och frågade honom, jag hälsade från Miss Mary Ann och frågade honom om några saker och han inbjöd mig att komma och hälsa på honom. Och han sa att han kanske hade någon tavla, någon som han hade gjort här på Canada kvar. Men jag hade mycket att göra, jag jobbade hela tiden och jag besökte honom aldrig. Och det är faktiskt en av de saker jag tycker är sorgligast i livet.
Lars, I know you were here 45 years ago. How does that compare with now? Tell us the stories and the comparison of 45 years and now, and what brought you here with White Eagle.
Oh, I came here because Jack Dixon wanted to change his Vega and holiday with a Swedish fellow who had a Vega and a holiday. And so we came to Whitehaven in Cumbria and sailed up the coast. And it was me, my wife and our 3 children. They were all with us. I think the youngest one was Björn. He was 6 about when we were here. But sailing on White Eagle is of course so much more comfortable and pleasure and good friends, I must say. What about you?
Well, I know the difference between a Vega 45 years ago and now is that there are a lot more buttons to press. How does that make you feel about sailing in Scotland?
Oh, actually when we sailed out for 3 days, I think, and then the engine failed. So we sailed another 3 weeks or so without the engine and no buttons to press and only charts and hand bearings, and that was good.
So what were your key experiences, the key points where you thought, have I pushed this too far? Were there any experiences like that?
I suppose that would be when we sailed into Strangford Loch to see our friends. And that was all right, but when we sailed out of it, it was touch and go really. And and we expected the weather to stop over Wales and give us a fair crossing to Whitehaven.
Stornoway Coast Guard, Stornoway Coast Guard.
It did not stop.
Mobile. Over.
Sorry, I was a
man,
man.
of course.
Really?
So we came in the evening, and I remember we sailed round, and also my elder daughter was in the bow. And she said, I said, ready to jibe, and she said, don't jibe, go through the wind. And it turned out eventually that it was a slipway that we were sailing up onto, but we didn't. So we anchored in the middle of it, and the children went to sleep. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I calculated the times again and the heights, and I found that we would be aground at low tide. So I said to my wife, I'm trying to move, we didn't have an engine, you know, I'm trying to move the boat over to the wall and tie alongside. And also came up immediately, and she launched the dinghy and towed us there. And in the morning, I went to pay my harbour fee and asked if it was all right where we were. And he said, it's all right where you are, but 2 big steel trawlers will come in very pleasantly and lie outside you. So we said, thank you. And so we said goodbye. So we raced up the northwestern side of the island in a gale. And we had been given the advice to stay as near the northern point as so that you can throw a stone ashore. We did, almost at least, and we avoided the overfalls. And then it was close hauled up, Ramsey it was, where we eventually found a buoy that was free. There was a jetty at that time, the long jetty, 1 English mile long. And but we found a jetty inside and managed to row the dinghy ashore.
So what about your experiences in Scotland, especially with no engine? I'm incredibly impressed by what you achieved, Lars. Tell us about that.
Oh, we sailed out to Whitehaven and all was well, and we came to the west side of Jura, where we anchored in good weather. And the next morning the engine didn't start. So we sailed up to Crinan and asked for someone to help us. No one was there. They said, try in Tobermory. So we sailed to Tobermory, and an engineer of some sort came down and helped. Actually, he spent most of a day trying to help us, but he couldn't find anything that was wrong, or he couldn't make the engine work in any case. So he said, forget about it. And that's one of my bad conscience still. I said, what do I owe you? And he said, nothing. I didn't do anything, did I? And I didn't pay him anything. I didn't even invite him for something. Oh, it's too bad. Then we sailed on, and we turned around at Canna and sailed down and into Strangford Loch and out again and back to Whitehaven. That's right.
Impressive, Lars. I'm forever impressed by what you've achieved. I would have loved to have been a part of the crew.